Um, one of the things that I always do, and you guys will either like this or maybe not like this, but I'm a lot of my analogies that I do are sports oriented, and I apologize about that, but I played sports all through college, and so it's just one of those things that I've always done. But I look at a team concept when I'm working in a plan. One of the things I learned a long time ago, I remember the first time I got to work with a business owner at 25, 26 years old. Obviously, it was a million years ago. So at 25, 26 years old, I'm working with a business owner. I'm thinking, man, I am just knocking this out of the park. Everything I read in my planning books, I'm ready to go. This is, man. So I get this guy, we're working through all the steps. And I get to the point where I got to bring an attorney in. So I bring an attorney and say, I had probably 6, 8 months worth of work into this thing. Here's where I made one mistake. I never had the accountant involved. I never had the attorney involved. I never had their wealth management person involved, whether it be wealth management, their broker, whatever you want to call it. I never had their banker involved. So all of a sudden, I get the attorney involved, and everything comes to a screeching halt. And I'm like, oh, he goes, well, we shouldn't be set up this way in an LLC. If we're going to do this right, we're going to set it up and so all of a sudden, this thing didn't happen. It didn't happen for like another year. And I realized that if I'd have done the thing right in the first place, if I'd have had a team concept in the first place, if I'd have had brought everybody together for this client in the first place, we'd all been on the same page. So whether you bring someone in like me, or whether you have your wealth advisor do it, whether you have your accountant do it, someone's got to be, and here comes my sports analogy again, someone's got to be the quarterback on a team. Somebody's got to be the quarterback or the coach or whatever you want to call them to make sure we stay online with making decisions and making sure everybody. So anytime I'm dealing with a client and I'm out there with them and we're talking about stuff that really pertains to the attorney, I'll make sure the attorney gets a summary. If it's an accountant, if it's something for everybody, we do all that. And then sort of give, hey, the next step is we need to make sure we have enough money in their retirement plan. Could you guys with the wealth management group have a meeting with them in the next couple of weeks? They told me I don't have to be involved. Would you guys do that? They just want to feel comfortable about where they're at 6 months down the road and that type of thing. And I try and keep people involved and all the way through. So having a good team and having someone that is willing to do that is key. Because if you just have one person you're dealing with, and if you've done this before and you never got finished, it's probably because you had a person that was trying to do it all. And I think that's really hard. Wouldn't mind it, but I think you leave too many things up. There's a lot. I mean, the funny commercial about, can you do everything? Yeah, we did, and we can. But where'd you, I stayed at a Holiday. What was that joke? But I did stay at a Holiday. Are you an attorney? No, I'm not an attorney, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So my point is, I know enough to be dangerous about the agreements and things, what they should look like and the different clauses should I write it? No. As an accountant, I know what things we should probably have. Are they going to have better insight from a tax perspective on which way we should have their business set up? Yes, that's what they do. Wealth management. Should I know what accounts they should be in and what things? Yeah, I know enough to be dangerous. I've seen very successful plans before. Is that my call? No. Same with type of loans and different things. So I bring certain things to the table, and I know enough to be dangerous and to question things for you as a client. But I think it's important that you see that and understand that. So if we go to the next page, Jack, I want people to see that when we get into other things, and I'm not going to discuss these things today, and I don't even realize I'm going to have to look and see. Sorry, Jack, I didn't see how long I am into this presentation. So way long. So all these are different things that where we normally get into is what does business structure look like? What do you envision it to look like in 5 to 10 years? Your transition plan to the next generation, exit strategy, buy-sell agreements, that type of thing. If you flip to the last page, and I'm just going to go quick because I'm way too far into this. These are all things that we take, and it might take a year to get done. But what I'd like to do in closing is say in review and propose solutions is, and I want everybody to understand this, because if you allow yourself to become overwhelmed, you will not do this process. You will not go through it. Don't become overwhelmed. Get with someone that makes you feel comfortable. Get with someone that's got a lot of experience in this type of thing. Get with someone that will sit with you and prioritize, this is what's important to us. This is what we want to do. Okay. And understand that this is a process and it takes time. If you understand all those things, you'll get this done. So with that in mind, that's my closing. That's what I thought I would do when I close it. So Jack, I don't know if anyone has any questions for me. Direct, Terry, I hope I didn't go too long. Or Nancy, I hope I didn't go too long.
I thought that was great. Thank you very much, Gary. I think we're waiting on people to start asking questions. Just remember, if you have any questions, just to put them in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll get to them. We do have one question. What is the most important step in starting?
You know, there were some questions that I saw that were on there, and that was sort of one that maybe someone brought up. As far as the most important step is deciding to act. And I think that when I say that, you have to find someone that you feel comfortable with that's going to be, that, like I talked about, your quarterback. You've got to have a meeting with someone that does similar to what I do, that is going to ask you a bunch of questions and figure out where's our next step. They got to find, when you go through one of these planning processes, you're going to bare your soul to whoever you're working with, because you're going to tell stories about your kids, especially if you've got kids active and not active. You're going to have kids that you're going to tell, I'm going to want to know if you like Sally and Johnny and Bobby and whoever, because if you don't, I can't help you. I mean, if you don't tell me these things, I can't help you. So I want to know everything there is to know about your kids. By the end of the process, you'll know everything about my two kids. So, I mean, it's one of those things that you tell stories and you just work your way through it. So I think that's key. Finding someone that you trust and you want to work with.
Okay. So it looks like, let's see, no other questions today, Gary. So on behalf of everybody, I want to say thank you very much. I think this was a wonderful webinar, and it sounds like we might do a couple of other webinars in the future about
Perfect.
This. Is that correct?
Would love to if we can.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do a little positioning. Nancy, I'm going to bring you back in, and so you can kind of give us the salutation and say, and Nancy, are you there?
Oh. Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
There she is.
If you can just sign us off.
Gary, I think this was excellent, and it really covered a lot of, I believe, a lot of the questions that were asked prior to the event even starting on the registration form. So I think it was great, and I would like to maybe, like Jack said, maybe do a session 2, getting even more into the details, and maybe even, if people are willing to, have some conversation among the attendees if people feel comfortable doing that. Sometimes that works better in a small group, in a small room, rather than more publicly. We definitely don't want people attending this, thinking, oh, they're going to close their business or whatever. We know that people should plan that. And our advice always from the Small Business Development Center is, when people start a business and they write a business plan, they should also write a succession plan at the same time. But we know that people don't do that, and all of a sudden 20, 30, 40 years have passed in the blink of an eye. So thank you, Gary, for your time on this. It was very informative. And Jack, thanks for being the producer of this event.
Thanks, Jack.
You're welcome.